Hi, hello, namaste. Good morning, all of you. This is Yatish Kumar. Welcome to Zoology Online Guru. Today, we are going to discuss about human reproduction. For our convenience, we are discussing human reproduction in two headings, that is, male reproduction and female reproduction. First, male reproductive system. Male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes, ducts and accessory glands. A pair of testes, ducts, accessory glands and external genitalia. Coming to human testis, a pair of oval pinkish testes are present below the abdomen in a small sac or bag that is called scrotum. Suppose this is a abdomen. Below the abdomen there is a sac. This is called scrotum. In the scrotum there are two testes. So these are testes. Two in number. They are oval in shape and pinkish in color. Testes are oval in shape and pink in color, and these two testes are held in position with a thick fibrous connective tissue which is attached in the scrotal sac. So this attachment is called gubernaculum. So testes are held at position in the scrotum in a fixed position, connective tissue that is called gubernaculum. Before birth, the two testes are not present in the scrotum. The scrotum sac is empty before the birth. That means there is a way, a canal, there is a canal linked with the abdomen, with the scrotum. These two testes are actually present in the abdomen. After birth, these testes they slowly slide into the scrotum. They slide into the scrotum through a canal. This is called inguinal canal. Inguinal canal. So inguinal canal is the link between the abdomen and scrotum sac, and through this canal, the passage, the testis present in the abdomen slowly slides over into the scrotal sac. In some cases, the testis cannot slide into the scrotal sac. Means after birth, the scrotum cannot receive the testes. That means the testes are attached in the abdomen. This condition is known as cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism is a condition where the testes are not slide into the scrotal sac, they are attached in the abdomen. This condition is known as cryptorchidism. And now, why the testes are located outside the abdomen? So in this case, testes are responsible for the production of sperms, spermatozoa. In the abdomen, our body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade temperature is there. To avoid this high temperature, Testes are located outside the abdomen in the scrotum. The scrotal sac reduces the temperature 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade than the abdominal body temperature. That's why to maintain the lively nature of the scrotozoa, the testes are located outside the abdomen in the scrotal sac. Next, coming to the inguinal canal. This is the inguinal canal. Inguinal canal is responsible for the sliding of the testis from the abdomen into the scrotum, and secondly, it makes a spermatic cord. Spermatic cord is union of three components. One, the vasa deferens, a nerve, and a blood vessel. Vasa deferens, nerve, and a blood vessel, collectively known as spermatic cord. Now about the testis. Suppose it is a testis. Each testis or each testicle is surrounded by a envelope, fibrous coat, that is called tunica albuginea. So this is called tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea. This tunica albuginea enters inside the testis and divides the testis into 200 to 250 compartments. With the example, this is the tunica albuginea enters inside and divided partition. Tunica albuginea invaginates into the testis and makes each testis into 200 to 250 compartments. Each compartment is known as testicular lobule. So now it is called testicular lobule. Testicular lobules. There are more than 200 to 250 testicular lobules are present inside the testis. Each testicular lobule inside, they are with one or two or maximum three seminiferous tubules. Means testicular lobules are made up of seminiferous tubules. So each tube is called seminiferous tubule. Once again, each testis is surrounded by a membrane that is called tunica albuginea. This tunica albuginea invaginates into the testis and makes the testis into a number of compartments. Each partition or each compartment is known as testicular lobule. Each testicular lobule may contain 1 to 3 convoluted tubules are there. These tubules are called seminiferous tubules. Each seminiferous tubule inside, they are made up of spermatogonia, also called sperm mother cell. Now surrounding each testis, there is a outer peritoneal membrane. Serous membrane is present. This serous layer is called as tunica vaginalis. The outermost pouch is called tunica vaginalis. Tunica vaginalis. Now coming to the seminiferous tubules. There are 1 to 3 highly coiled convoluted seminiferous tubules are present in each testicular lobule. Suppose it is a part of the seminiferous tubule. It is a part of the seminiferous tubule. This seminiferous tubule is made up of cells. These cells are known as spermatogonia. Spermatogonia, also known as sperm mother cells. the spermatogonia are in diploid condition. That means every individual or every human beings are in diploid condition. Every cell contains a nucleus. Within the nucleus there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. One set from the mother and another set from the father. So like that in the zygote there are 23 pairs of the chromosomes are present. Here in the spermatogonia also they are in the diploid condition. That means there are 23 pairs of chromosomes are present. That means there are 46 chromosomes. These spermatogonia or sperm mother cell undergo mitosis, and then they produce another type of cells. These are called primary spermatocytes. Primary spermatocytes also in the diploid condition, and they undergo. So primary spermatocytes undergo meiosis and produce haploid spermatids. So these are also in a 2n condition, diploid condition. When they are undergoing meiosis and produce 4, each one produce 4 spermatids. Each one produces 4 spermatids. These spermatids undergo metamorphosis and produce sperms. Each spermatid converted to a sperm. So now sperms are haploid in condition. They are with a single set of chromosomes, haploid condition. And every spermatozoa or every sperm is made up of 3 components. One is head, neck and tail. So head, neck and tail, 3 regions are present in every spermatozoa. In the testis, 2 types of nourishment cells are present. One is Sertoli cells, second one is Leydig cells. Sertoli cells. Within the seminiferous tubules, the spermatogonia mother cells also present. That is called the spermatogonia. And in between the spermatogonia, some cells also present. These cells are called Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the developing spermatozoa. Spermatozoa take nutrition from the Sertoli cells. Another type of cell, this is one type of cell. Another type of nourishing cell is called Leydig cells. Leydig cells are present between the seminiferous tubules. Here, seminiferous tubules are present in the testicular lobule. Suppose this is the testicular lobule, this is one seminiferous tubule, here is another seminiferous tubule is present, suppose. So, seminiferous tubule 1, this is 1, and this is the second seminiferous tubule. Between the seminiferous tubules, other type of cells also present. So, these are the second type of cells are present. So, they are present between the seminiferous tubules. These cells are also known as the interstitial cells. Interstitial cells, also known as Leydig cells. They are called Leydig cells. Leydig cells are responsible for the production of the hormone, the male hormone or male reproductive hormone, that is called testosterone. Leydig cells are responsible for the production of testosterone, a male sex hormone, testosterone. Scrotum, also known as scrotal sac. Within the scrotum there is a testis or testicle singular, and within the testes there are testicular lobules. Testicular lobule. Within the testicular lobule there are seminiferous tubules. There are seminiferous tubules. Each one is known as seminiferous tubule. Each one known as seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubules, by mitosis and then meiosis, they produce spermatozoa. These spermatozoa then enters into the next part of the male reproductive system, that is called vasa efferentia. So in the testes there is a link in the testis only, and this is the link into the vasa efferentia. Suppose this is the vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia and the seminiferous tubules, in between there is a link. The link is called rete testis. So this is rete testis is the link between the vasa efferentia and into the seminiferous tubules. The sperms from the seminiferous tubules enters into the vas efferentia through a link, a muscular link is there. That link is called rete testis. Suppose this is the scrotum. Scrotum. Within the scrotum, testis, testicular lobule, and this is seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule synthesizes, prepares spermatozoa. These spermatozoa enters into the collection of tubules and ducts. This connective tissue. This is connective tissue opens into a narrow, highly coiled structure, and this structure is called vas efferentia. Vas efferentia means from the seminiferous tubules, the sperms or spermatozoa enters into the vas efferentia through a link. This link is called rete testis. So seminiferous tubules linked to the vas efferentia through a collection of group of ducts, canals, that is called rete testis. Next, this vasa efferentia leaves the testis and enters into, it leaves the testis from the other side, leaves the testis and opens into a epididymis. Epididymis is a highly coiled, narrow tube surrounds the posterior part of the testis. So, the highly coiled posterior part of the testis, and each epididymis consists of three parts: caput epididymis, corpus epididymis, and cauda epididymis. First part, second part, and third part. The first part is caput epididymis. Second one, corpus. Third one, cauda epididymis. Cauda means it looks like a tail-like structure, so it is called cauda epididymis. This cauda epididymis then enters into a vasa deferens. Okay, this is abdomen. This is a scrotum. testis, rete testis, vas efferentia, and highly coiled narrow epididymis with a capped epidermis. So capped corpus and cauda epidermis. So the tail-like structure is called cauda epidermis. This cauda epidermis along the side of the testis, they weigh into the inguinal canal. They weigh into the inguinal canal. So this is the inguinal canal. Inguinal canal, and this is the vas deferens. This is vas deferens enters into the inguinal canal and then enters into abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity. This is vas deferens. Abdomen, scrotum, testis, vas deferens. Vas deferens. Vas deferens enters into the abdomen and up to the length of the urinary bladder. It extends up to the length of the urinary bladder. So these are the ureters. Another ureter from the kidneys. Okay, kidneys, and this is urinary bladder. Urethra. So this is urinary bladder. And this canal is called urethra. And vas deferens from the scrotal sac enters into the abdomen through the inguinal canal and extends up to the urinary bladder, and from the back side of the ureter, it enters over the urinary bladder, and opens into a vesicle. It is called seminal vesicle. It is a gland. It opens into a gland that is called seminal vesicle. So this is a seminal vesicle. So the vas efferentia from the back side of the ureters, these are ureters. From the back side of the ureter and placed on the over the urinary bladder and opens into a seminal vesicle, and both the seminal vesicles, they unite and forms. That means that the seminal vesicle and vas efferentia is collectively they forms the ejaculatory duct. For the ejection of the semen, vas deferens and seminal vesicle collectively forms a ejaculatory duct. And after the seminal vesicle, below the urinary bladder, there is one pair of prostate glands also present. So this is the prostate gland, and prostate gland with a duct opens into the urethra. So here, these are prostate glands. So seminal vesicles, they prepare the semen, and seminal vesicle and vas deferens they collectively forms a ejaculatory duct. After the seminal vesicle, there are one pair of prostate glands. Prostate gland also produces 15 to 30% of the seminal fluid, and this prostate gland fluid is also mixed in the sperms, and then they opens into the urethra. Urethra opens into a muscular penis. The muscular penis is called penis. penis, and the anterior part where there is a bulbous structure of the penis is present, and this bulbous structure is called glans penis. Glans penis. And from the tip of the glans penis, the urethra opens outside, that means a discharge of the sperms takes place from the glans penis tip through the urethra inside the penis, and the sperms releases outside. Penis is a muscular organ for the ejaculation of the sperms into the female vagina. Penis is required. Penis is the external genitalia in the male reproductive system. Penis is the external genitalia in the male reproductive system, and each penis is made up of three types of the muscles. So upper two muscles are called corpora cavernosa. Cavernosa. And from the ventral side, another type of muscles are present here. So 1, 2, 3. So upper two, dorsal two muscles are called corpora cavernosa. Ventral one muscle is called as corpora spongiosum. Like that, there are three types of muscles are present. Three muscles are present in the each penis. Dorsal two muscles are called corpora cavernosa, and ventral one muscle is known as the corpora spongiosum. Okay, we are stopping here. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Share the video, like the video, and subscribe my channel Zoology Online Guru. Thank you. Thanks for watching.